Our weekly interview is with Hope Hatton. Hope went from property management to real estate resales recently and joined Coldwell Banker. Thank you very much for doing that. And so I thought she'd be a good resource to talk a little bit both about that transition and how property management and rentals play into our resale business. So I have a list of questions. Welcome, Hope.
Oh, thank you.
So why did you recently choose to move from property management to focus on real estate resales?
Well, when I first got my license, the market was kind of on the downturn cycle. I was afraid I didn't know enough people, sphere of influence to make steady income. So property management has a steady monthly income from commissions on rentals. When the market started to turn up, I decided I wanted to try to do sales. I knew enough people then in the industry. And Coldwell Banker has all the right tools.
All right, that's right. So if you compare commissions, how much would a monthly commission be on a rental versus a closing on a resale?
Well, monthly commission is generally 10% of the rent. So it's kind of like you're getting a lot of checks in really small increments. So you have the steady income, but you're not going to have the big success you can have with sales.
Okay. And do you find that having that background, that it helps you in your resale career? And what are some of the things that the information and knowledge that you use in resales?
I feel that my past experience with property management allows me to be able to quickly identify a viable rental property for investors that I might be helping to look for a property. And I also kind of have a lot of input to be able to tell them about different red flags, things to look for, and I can help them figure out if it's going to be a positive cash flow for them.
Do you mean red flags in terms of the condition of property? And if so, do you have any stories for us that you could share?
Well, yeah, I mean condition of the property, but also just various things as far as, well, I would have to say my one pet peeve, garbage disposals. All right? If people are going to have a rental property, they're going to have someone calling them every month because of something they threw down the garbage. If I could tell people one thing, I'd tell them just, if you have a rental property, take them out.
Everyone in the audience right now is wondering what they're going to do with their garbage disposal. Or, yeah, mine doesn't work either. Okay, and when you're in property management, how did you generate your clientele? How did you get your property management clients? And how does prospecting for property management clients differ from prospecting for resale clients?
It is almost exactly the same. You do a lot of mail outs, and then after a while you just end up getting all these referrals as long as people are happy with your service. The main difference is when you're mailing out, you're targeting people that do not live on the islands, that own property here, versus people that are already living in their homes.
I'm glad you brought that up. I found that when we're working with resale clients, that we'll find that they don't live in the home anymore, and they're still renting it out, and they live on the mainland. Does the law require someone to be on island that's managing the property for them?
It actually does. In the state of Hawaii, if you are an off-island owner, you're supposed to have a property manager. It can be a friend that does not have a real estate license, but they are only allowed to manage one property. If that person is managing multiple properties, they are supposed to be a licensed property manager who in the state of Hawaii also is supposed to have a real estate license. But I would recommend to most people, if they're going to do that, they really do need a licensed property manager because they know the law, they have the tools, they can more adequately take care of your property for you.
And they'll call the property manager about the garbage disposal instead of having to deal with themselves. So what we've seen in our market is that people move away from Hawaii and they have to make that decision on whether they're going to sell their home or rent it out. Can you give us some idea on what people should consider when they're making that decision?
Rental is a good idea if a person has to move. possibly off island, say a military relocation or just a temporary job location for a few years, they might want to consider renting the property out because they don't have enough equity in the home to sell it right now. It would be at a loss, or they would be able to wait for a few years until they gain some equity and then try to sell the property. The main thing that I tell people is do not expect the property to be in the same condition when you come back, because tenants do not treat your property the same as you would. They don't love it, but you may be able to find a tenant who loves it so much they might want to buy it from you in the future.
Thank you. Now let's talk a little bit about you. What market do you focus in now that you're in resale?
My main area of expertise is the Waianae Coast, which is the furthest west of Oahu. It's from past Ko'olina all the way west. It's Nanakuli, Maili, Waianae, and Makaha.
And I found when I talk to people that work the Waianae Coast, they're very passionate about it for different reasons. Why do you enjoy the Waianae Coast?
If you love the Waianae Coast, it's because it never rains. The beaches are beautiful. There's a lot of wildlife out there. It's just more of a peaceful and relaxed way of living. There's not as many people out there.
So it's definitely more remote. Okay. Anyone have questions for our former property manager and now co-agent here at our office? Okay, we have a question. Leslie? Yeah, okay, so the question is, when you're in property management, or even others that are in property management now, what are some of the things they usually look at to decide if the tenant is one that the landlord is going to want to bring into their property?
That is a great question. The only thing, as far as discrimination, the part of the question, you cannot discriminate against anyone except for on their ability to pay. So what you're looking at when you're looking at their applications, you want to see their current income, their past income. You want to look at their references, the past landlords, call a few of their landlords. There is also on the internet, our Hawaii judicial website has a place called the Ho'oiki website where you can look up people's names and see if they have had past evictions or any kind of judgments against them. And that's an important thing to look at. And for everyone here that's not in property management, an interesting thing to know is when you've got buyers coming in, we all know how hard it is to get someone to want to come in and give us their information so they can pre-qualify. If you are in property management, here are people handing you their financial information without you even asking. They want to give it to you. So you have a chance to look at these people and say, hey, maybe you can qualify to buy a home or qualify for a USDA loan or something like that. So you can actually collect a possible sphere of influence that could be future clients for you.
Thank you. Other questions? Rick? So Rick's question is, do you have recommendations on who you can refer clients to handle their property management?
Well, here in Coldwell Banker, we actually have concierge services, a set of recommended people that we can recommend. I personally try to recommend a real estate company that is close to or situated near the property because they'll give them the best service. So it really varies according to the property, who I would recommend.
So Rick's point is well taken, that when you're looking for someone to refer your property management accounts, you may want to look for someone that doesn't compete in our business and they do property management solely and not resales.
If you do have a particular friend who's a property manager that you like to refer to, you can have them sign a non-competition agreement with you that you're giving them your client to manage their property, but they will give them back to you when it's time to sell.
All right, let's get a big round of applause for Hope. Thank you.